If you're an international student and you want to study abroad, one of the things that becomes a difficulty, or one of the things that a lot of students find it difficult to get, is recommendation letters. So today I want to talk about how to get recommendation letters, since it's one of the I would say difficult things to get, especially if you are watching this and you are watching it from Ghana. Getting recommendation letters from professors, faculties, lecturers, administrative staff, people, and all of that can be a little bit daunting, right? So in this video, I want to just share my approach, how I was able to get recommendation letters for almost 13 to 14 schools that I applied to. Most institutions in the United States require 2 to 3 recommendation letters, and I applied for 13 schools. Do the math, do the calculation. Just do it and know how many recommendation letters I secured for my graduate school application. So if you are here, you are looking forward to apply to 4 to 5 schools, it means you will need approximately 10, 15 recommendation letters, which can be a lot, right? So in this video, I'm just going to show you the strategies that I use in securing my recommendation letters. In the year 2022, that is when my journey to study abroad began. And as that journey began in January 2022, I was proactive about getting recommendation letters from my recommenders. So I spoke to them in advance and made my intentions clear to them, the fact that I was going to apply for graduate school and that I would need them to recommend me. So that was what I did in advance. And in 2022 August, when I started putting in my application, they were willing to send a recommendation letter on my behalf. Like I said, I was proactive and I spoke with them in advance. So that is the first thing that you want to do. If you are looking forward to study abroad this year, this is a very good time, or a very good timing for you to reach out to your recommenders in advance to tell them about your intentions and the fact that you will need recommendation letters from them. So 2, what I did was that some of them I had worked with, and it was easy for them to write 1 or 2 stuff about me, but some of them I knew them personally, but I haven't worked with them, or I haven't been in their class for them to teach me. So those people, I knew it was going to be a bit difficult for them to get a very detailed recommendation letter for me. So what I did was I proposed something for them. I just wrote something for them that they could use based on my qualities and my characteristics, or based on my traits. So I didn't write it to give to them for them to use the same thing to recommend me. I just gave them something that they could work with. So if you're watching this video, that is something you can also do. You can write a short bio about you and send it to your recommenders and tell them to use that and incorporate some of the things in the things that they will be writing about you. I'm not saying it's an ideal thing to do, because if you really have that kind of rapport with a recommender, they should be willing and they should be ready to write recommendation letters on your behalf without any struggle. But like I said, some of them, I didn't work for them, but then they knew me, they knew my traits, they knew who I was in terms of character wise, right? But in terms of working for them, I've never worked for them, they've never taught me before. So those were the people that I gave them something substantive for them to work with, so that it doesn't become difficult for them. And yeah, reaching out to people that you know personally. You don't want to reach out to any random faculty or any random person to write recommendation letter on your behalf, because recommendation letter plays an integral role in you getting into a particular school or not. And if you don't know these people personally and they can't account for your good traits and the good things that you did as a student, it can go against you. Let me share this story with you. I knew someone who came to the United States and went to find out why he kept on getting rejections in that particular school. And the school was, fair enough to tell him that, we're not giving you admission because one of your recommendation letters didn't speak well about you. So please be mindful of the people that you go to ask for recommendation letters, because they can make or unmake your application. So be very mindful and be very careful about that. So these are the 3 things, or these are some of the things that I did in securing my recommendation letters. 1, I spoke with them in advance. 2, I made sure I wrote something about myself, especially to those that didn't teach me or didn't work with me one-on-one. And 3, I made sure I was just doing this in order to avoid getting just random people to write generic stuff about me. I didn't want that generic template that normally faculties use in recommending students. So these were the 3 things that I did, and it really worked for me pretty much. And now something that I would say is that if you're watching this video, you have a friend, you have a sibling in school who also wants to apply or study abroad, one thing that I would advise is to let them start building connections with their faculty. And if I say connections, I mean healthy connections with their faculties, because eventually they are going to need them to recommend them. And you know, most institutions in Ghana, the class size is like huge. So sometimes a lot of students might not even talk in class. They will be sitting at the back, not contributing to class discussions and all of that. If you do that, you are causing harm to yourself, especially if you have the dreams of studying abroad and you are doing that. You want to be seen. You want to be taking those class reps and all those kind of roles in the classroom. You want to get yourself acquainted with that of your faculty, because the more they know you, the more you were talking in class, the more you were contributing to class discussion, the more they can write something about you. So please pay attention to that. Now, in most of the universities in the United States, they will request for 2 or 3 recommendation letters. And most of the time, they are going to request for recommendation letters from people that are using institutional emails. Now pay attention to this: institutional emails. Emails that end with .gov, .edu, you know, those corporate emails. It's funny sometimes when I hear that some professors don't have these kind of corporate emails, because how can you work in an organization or a corporate or a firm where like you don't have an institutional email? It doesn't speak well. You get the point. So try to look at the requirement, what the school is looking for, because like I said, most of the time they are going to request for recommendation letters from people that are using institutional emails as compared to emails or Yahoo or Gmails and all of that, right? They don't want those ones. So those kind of domains do not really help them in terms of the professionality of how they want the recommendation letter to be. So please pay attention to some of these things. Some schools don't care. Some schools will just tell you recommendation letters. It doesn't matter whether it's coming from institutional or at Yahoo or at Gmail. It doesn't matter. So you pay attention to the requirement and know the exact thing that the school expects from you before you make an attempt of securing a recommendation letter. And for the most part, if you're applying to any school in the United States, they will also tell you, the schools will tell you that we need 3 recommendation letters, 2 from faculty members and 1 from a professional or a corporate world or a corporate firm where you worked, right? So if they say that, you have to make sure that you are doing as they've said. It's not always the case. You might get 2 from faculty members, right? In my case, sometimes I got 1 from my faculty and I got 2 from the corporate world where I worked. So it worked for me. So it's not always the case. They are not very strict with those kind of things, but it will be very good for you to make sure that your recommendation letters, especially the ones you are using to apply for schools, have 1 or 2 of them like speaking about you from an academic background, right? So you should get someone who taught you before to say something on your behalf. And one of the things that I was doing when I was in Ghana was that I had some faculty friends in different departments who also helped in recommending me. So that is something you can do. And I also had some administrative staff friends who also could recommend me, because all these people had institutional emails. So please pay attention to some of the things that goes into this. Like I said, look at the department requirement and what they want, and based off on that, you'll be able to know exactly how you are going about your recommendation letters, right? So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know what you think in the comment section.